Hi everyone, it's NonnaGrace. I just peeked over to make sure the light's on. It's on. Because yesterday I had the question asked to me, did Jim forget to turn the camera on? Yes, he did. He turned it on, but he didn't turn record on. So it was blank for a while. Well, I was blank for a while. I wasn't being recorded. And it's awfully hard to sometimes get back into the swing of things, especially if you said it. And you said it so good the first time and then you got to do it again. It's like, this doesn't work very good. But today, we're going to talk about time. Do you know you're supposed to turn the clocks back tonight at 2 o'clock in the morning? Or just before you go to bed. That's when I do mine. But my topic today is if you could turn back time, and you can turn back time 1 hour. But if you could turn back time, the way I'm thinking of turning back time, what would I do different? Well, I wrote down a couple of things that I would do different. I have to peek because my memory is not real good. I would have a better memory if I could turn back time, I'm sure. But I'd write down all the silly things that my kids did or said instead of say, oh, I should have wrote that down. I should write this down. I used to say that a lot, and they did a lot of silly little things, and they said a lot of silly things. You know, kids say the darndest thing. Remember Art Linkletter show? If those of you that have been around a while, you remember that, where the kids say the darndest things, and it was really cute. I remember the one time I was watching, and Art Linkletter asked the little girl, what did your mother tell you that you should remember to do? And she said, to make sure I sit with my legs together, because she used to sit with pants on all the time and always gappy, and she had on a dress. So she needed to sit with her ankles crossed. So that was the thing that she was told. And it was funny when she said it because the way she said it. I would also have not so much stuff. You know, as time goes by, we've been 41 years in this house. And boy, we've got a lot of junk. And when we moved in, we didn't have so much. But you know what happens when you move into a house? It seems like your parents dump everything that you left at their house on you. And then you have it in your house. And I actually had all the boxes that we moved. They were in one room at one time. Then I moved them upstairs to another room. And little by little, those boxes got emptied. And then some of the boxes actually went to the attic and have never been opened. And those boxes, probably, I don't need the stuff that's in them, because if they've never been opened in 41 years, I probably don't need them. I would have asked my parents a lot more questions about their childhood. That's something that I regret that I didn't do. I did ask them a lot of questions about, you know, who was their mother and their brothers and aunts and uncles and things like that. And so I did do a family tree. But I wish I would have asked more questions. And I really wish that the lady that came to visit my father, I met her when I was working at McDonald's. She came to visit my dad, and they were talking in Italian. I really wished I could have understood what they were saying, because he was talking Italian like he had never stopped talking Italian. And she was laughing, and then she'd say to me, do you know what he said? And I said, no, I don't know what he said. And so then she would tell me what he said. And she was from the exact same village, but she came here many, many years later. And that tree that my dad said that his grandfather, apparently they had the big tree that was in Sicily, and it was one of the big trees, because there weren't many big trees, and they owned that big tree, and he said all the kids used to like to climb that big tree, and she climbed that big tree. And so that's another thing she talked about. And I also wrote down that I would have learned to speak Italian, and the way I would have done that is we would have had to not speak any English if we were to do that, because the only way you can be immersed into a language is you'd have to just speak that language and learn to try to understand what they're saying without the English word, because you don't learn the language. I have tried to learn. You don't know how many times I've tried to learn Spanish and can't learn it still. I even have the Rosetta Stone or whatever.
Rosetta Stone. Yes, we have.
I even have that program, and can I understand it? No. Emily was listening to it, and she thought it was. I says, "What are they saying?" And she would tell me what they were saying. She understands it very well, even though she says she doesn't speak Spanish. She speaks Spanish. Well, those are the things that I would do if I could turn back time. What would you do if you could turn back time besides the 1 hour? You could relive that 1 hour over and over again if you like. Get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and maybe make a sandwich and then turn the clock back an hour and then make yourself another sandwich, I suppose. I don't know. Or just get yourself up and out of bed and reset the clock or do so. I don't know how you would relive that hour again.
Yeah, I don't know.
I used to hate working when the clocks were turned back because I'd be working, if I was working 11 to 7 at night, and you had to work an extra hour and you didn't get paid extra for that extra hour. But I used to like it when we'd spring forward, because if I was working, because you would get hit 2 o'clock and you could swing it. Oops, now it's 3 o'clock. And so you would spring forward. But now we're falling back. It's going towards winter. So remember to turn your clocks back an hour if you are in one of those states that has to turn them back. There are a few states that don't have to do that, but we still have to do it. So enjoy your extra sleep. If you make sure you go to bed early enough so you do get the extra sleep. Otherwise, it's just an hour that you've wasted again. And we'll see you all tomorrow, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, hopefully. Bye.